What's going on, guys? It is me, Fate, and this is What If Tanjiro was in My Hero Academia Part 11. This is arguably the longest series in my entire career as a YouTuber. I've never done 11 parts. So please, 5 likes and you get Part 12. See y'all in the video. As the events unfolded, Tanjiro finally came to his senses and realized, what was going on. Tengen was fighting Gitaro by himself, and Zenitsu and Inosuke were both fighting Daki. Shinobu would come up to Tanjiro as the blazes in the background burned. She explained that after Gitaro used his quirk, she got separated with Dabi and Nezuko, and they both ran off. Tanjiro was saddened. Not again. He couldn't remember why. He couldn't figure out why Nezuko became a villain, but he had to find out. In order to do that, he has to survive this battle. Tanjiro gets up, dusts himself off, and begins to breathe, meditate, trying to get in the right state of mind as he runs after to help Inosuke and Zenitsu against Daki. Shinobu would use poison on her blade and helps Tengen against Gitaru. Shinobu eventually, as the battle rages on, poisons Gitaru. Tengen would try and get close to Gitaru and use his blades to try and siphon out most of the poison, but it wasn't working. He was getting slower and slower by the second, and he didn't know what to do. Eventually, he was able to view everyone's quirk. As he began to laugh, Gitaro would ask what's so funny as Tengen would shout, "My quirk, it's called Sound Mimic. When I hear a quirk, I can copy it. That goes for yours as well." As Gitaro would realize the error of his ways, this fight was going on too long, and at this point, with his musical score, Tengen could mimic Gitaru's fighting style. Same with Daki's and everybody around him. Tengen took a deep breath as he told the villain to clench his jaw, because this is going to hurt. Tengen combined the quirks of Tanjiro, Daki, Gitaro, Inosuke, Zenitsu, Dabi, Nezuko, and his musical score to create one rainbow-colored giant slash as he yelled, "Sound Mimic." This giant slash was heading straight for Gitaro, but he blocks it, only knocking him out. Zenitsu, Inosuke, and Tanjiro's fight against Daki raged on. Tanjiro, Inosuke, and Zenitsu both were bleeding heavily and running out of blood. They both were fading in and out of consciousness. Only their friendship and them punching each other literally in the face to keep each other awake would allow this fight to continue on. Daki realized that Gitaro was defeated, and thus was caught off guard as Inosuke slashed at Daki. Daki jumped back. As Inosuke eventually got an idea, he tells Zenitsu and Tanjiro that they're gonna have to jump her. They tried, but it couldn't work. Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro rushing at Daki in the air as Inosuke would boost Zenitsu, and Zenitsu would hold Tanjiro. Zenitsu would go above Daki as Zenitsu would use all of his strength to boost Tanjiro, and Tanjiro would use all of his strength, the power in his quirk, to ignite his entire body. Daki would see Tanjiro's entire body ignited in flames, as the flames then were soloed to one singular point, his fist, as Tanjiro would yell, "Ember!" He would throw a jab and knock out Daki. This would pretty much act like a missile, honestly, because when Daki's body hit the ground, an explosion was created. After the dust settled, an ambulance went to Tokyo in the entertainment district. Tanjiro's hand was burning off, everybody was tired, and thus they were all sent to the hospital. Tanjiro woke up after 2 days, and of course, the doctor had to talk to Tanjiro. He told him that Tanjiro's quirk was getting too dangerous, This time, if he ever uses an attack of that magnitude again, he could burn off his entire arm. He's lucky that they were able to save his hands. Tanjiro would look and see permanent burn marks on his fingers and hands. The doctor would state that it's going to take a week for rehabilitation, but they should work fine, and would preference if you use an attack on that scale, your hands could burn off or worse, become unusable. Tanjiro, after a week, would get news that a boy named Deku fought a villain, and even heard from teachers that Izuku fought the creator of the quirk erasing bullets and won. Eventually, Tanjiro and Izuku would meet up and talk about it. And thus, they were able to go back to UA as Tengen without an arm, said that for now, that the Tengen Uzui agency is going to go on pause, as he has to get used to fighting with one arm, and it's going to take a bit. And thus, this is kind of his break. Tanjiro would walk in the dorms of UA with Izuku. Izuku, who would put his bags away, same as Tanjiro, as all of Class 1A would want to hear all about the sports, all about the internships with Izuku and Tanjiro. Tanjiro would simply state, well, actually, mine's kind of an off-brand of Izuku's. You see, I was trying to stop quirk erasing bullets from getting onto the streets. Izuku fought the main source. Eventually, this very grim conversation changed to about the recent news of the UA school festival, and thus talk of how Class 1A is going to set up their event for the school festival began. As the conversation became more vibrant, Tanjiro warmly smiled, as for the first time it seemed like forever, he was happy to see his friends again. But this was short-lived, as within a blink of an eye, the room went cold and silent and dark. Tanjiro looked up to see his friends, all of them, their bodies mutilated, red on the floor. Tanjiro then looked up to see All For One, but this wasn't the original All For One, the one that he knew. This All For One had no mask. He could only see his mouth and hair. His hair was very, very white. Like, I'm talking the whitest white. He then saw his friends' bodies shift into people he didn't even recognize. As he then looked to his right and saw a very young Yoriichi, he would cry as he said, "You killed them. You killed them all." As All For One would look down at Yoriichi. Now, no need to shift the blame, Yoriichi. I didn't kill them. It was you. You pulled the trigger. I'm simply a bullet. Tanjiro would be shaken out of his trance. Izuku would ask if Tanjiro's alright, as Tanjiro would say yes, but Kaminari would ask, "Are you sure? Because you were saying some weird stuff." Tanjiro would reply with that he's just tired and that he's gonna head up to bed. As Tanjiro sleeps, that same dream plays in his head, but this time it was extended. You killed them all. You killed all my friends. Now, Yoriichi. No need to shift the blame. You killed them all. You pulled the trigger. I'm just the bullet. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. They were innocent. They had nothing to do with this. Yoriichi, you just don't get it. I asked you to do one thing. Retrieve one for all and bring it to me. But you had to complicate things. And now you're simply getting the punishment you deserve. You'll die the This is our final battle. Oh, for one for all. It doesn't matter. It ends here. It's funny. You're interesting, Yorichi Sugakuni. But you got one thing wrong. Yes, this will be our final battle, but you'll see that you'll die tonight. Not me. Tanjiro woke up all of a sudden, with one tear rolling down his face, and she would then ask, "Who was that?"